The record had been sitting there for 33 years, since 1993. Since Michael Johnson ran a relay leg so fast that nobody in the sport seriously believed it would ever be touched. 33 years of clean finishes, world championships, Olympic Games, and the fastest men on the planet trading batons. And not once did anyone get close enough to make it a conversation. Then, on a Sunday afternoon in Gaborone, Botswana, a 23-year-old from Benoni, took the baton on the second leg of a relay final. And in the next 42 seconds, everything the 400 meters thought it knew about what was possible got rewritten. Gaborone, Botswana, the Debswana World Athletics Relays 2026. The first time in history this event has been held on African soil, and the host nation brought everything they had to make it count. This was not a regional meet. This was the Global Relay Championship, with World Athletics Championship qualification spots on the line, and the fastest relay teams on the planet competing in front of a crowd that had waited years for this moment. The men's 4x400-meter final was the last race of the entire weekend, and it delivered something nobody in that stadium was ready for. Lythe Pillay, Benoni, South Africa, 23 years old. And if you have been watching the South African 400 meters scene build over the last few years, you already know this name. But if you are coming to this story cold, here is what you need to understand about where Pillay comes from before we get to what he did in Gaborone. Pillay grew up in Benoni, east of Johannesburg. He started running in primary school, nothing extraordinary at first. A talent scout changed that, opening the door to a scholarship at King Edward VII School in Johannesburg. Under coach Lindy du Plessis, the development accelerated fast. At 15, he ran 46.76 for the 400 meters. At 16, 46.26. The direction was obvious to anyone watching closely. By 2021, he was at the Tokyo Olympics as part of the South African relay squad. The following year, he won gold at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Cali. In 2024, he ran a personal best of 44.31 at the South African National Championships, which made him the second fastest South African in 400-meter history, behind only Wade van Niekerk's world record of 43.03. But the individual results at major championships were not matching the potential. Eliminated in the 400-meter semifinals at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Eliminated again at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. 2 major championships, same round, same result. For an athlete with his profile, those exits created a question that followed him into 2026. Could he deliver when the moment was the biggest? He was still working on that answer when Gaborone arrived. South Africa came into the men's 4x400 final with a reshuffled lineup. Pillay had already run the mixed 4x400 relay the day before and sat out the men's heats entirely. The coaching staff made a tactical call for the final, bringing him in on the second leg in place of world under 2400-meter champion Udeme Okan. It was a decision that raised eyebrows. You are pulling out a world junior champion and replacing him with a man who has struggled to get past the semifinals of the last 2 individual major championships he entered. That is a bold move. Mithi Mthimkhulu ran the opening leg and put in a solid effort, handing the baton to Pillay in second place. Botswana's Lee Epi had given the home nation an early lead with a sharp 44.26 opening split, and the crowd inside Botswana National Stadium was already loud. Then Letsile Tebogo took the baton for Botswana on the second leg, Olympic 200-meter champion, a man who had already shown at these same world relays that he belongs in any conversation about the fastest humans alive. Tebogo surged down the back straight with a kind of stride that makes 43-second athletes look like they are standing still. Pillay was in second. The gap was real. The home crowd could see their man flying. Everything about that moment said Botswana was about to extend their lead and turn this into a statement race. Nobody saw what came next. Pillay ran 42.66 seconds. He did not just hold the gap. He closed it, caught Tebogo, and went past him on a leg where Tebogo himself ran 43.50. Think about what that means. Tebogo ran 43.50 and lost the leg by 0.84 seconds. The Olympic 200-meter champion got outrun by nearly a full second on a 400-meter relay leg. and the number Pillay posted doing it was 42.66. The previous fastest relay leg in 4x400 history belonged to Michael Johnson at the 1993 World Championships in Stuttgart. Johnson ran 42.94. That mark had been sitting untouched for 33 years through every major championship, every Olympic Games, every elite relay field the sport had ever produced. Pillay broke it by 0.28 seconds. Nobody saw that number coming. Not the crowd, not the other teams, not Pillay himself. When his teammate came to him in the tunnel after the race and told him the split, Pillay's first reaction was denial. He did not believe it. South Africa had the lead, and the record books had a new name in them, but the race was not over, and what happened in those final two legs is where the full story of this final lies. Botswana had world 400-meter champion Colin Kabina-Chippy on the anchor leg. South Africa had Zakithi Nene. On the third leg, Lendert Kokamore held the lead against Botswana's Bayapo Ndori, with Australia's Thomas Reynolds also closing in. Three teams within reach going into the last exchange. Kabina-Chippy ran the anchor leg of his life, pulling level with Nene inside the final 200 meters, and edging away in the closing straight to win gold for Botswana in a championship record 254.47. Nene crossed in 255.07 for South Africa, a new national record and the fifth fastest relay in history. Australia took bronze in 255.70. South Africa left Gaborone with silver. But the number people are still talking about belongs to the second leg, and it always will. What Pillay ran in Gaborone did something very specific to the conversation around him going into the rest of 2026. It did not just add a record to his name. It created a question that every serious fan of the 400 meters is now waiting to see answered, because relay splits and individual 400-meter times are measured differently. The exchange zone, the running start on the incoming leg, the adrenaline of a team race around you. Every analyst in this sport has been careful to point that out, and they are right to. A 42.66 relay split does not automatically mean Pillay is about to run 42.66 on his own, but here is what it does mean. His individual personal best is 44.31. He ran 42.66 on a relay leg in a championship final against Letsail Tebogo. That gap is not nothing. Whatever the conversion factor is, the engine producing that kind of output in a relay is the same engine that will line up in the individual 400 meters. The World Athletics Championships are heading to Beijing in 2027, and South Africa has already qualified. Pillay is going to Beijing. Wade van Niekerk is going to Beijing. Zakithi Nene is going to Beijing. The South African 400-meter program is building towards something that this continent has not seen before. The question is whether the individual version of Pillay is ready to match what happened in Gaborone. The African Athletics Senior Championships in Accra were the next stop on his calendar after Gaborone. Then the qualifying window for Beijing opens. Every race from here carries a different kind of weight now. That answer is coming, and the whole sport is watching to see what it looks like. Lythe Pillay ran 42.66 seconds on the second leg of a relay final in Gaborone, and took down a 33-year-old record that most people assumed was untouchable. He did it against Letsail Tebogo. He did it in a championship final. And he did it as a man who had been eliminated in the semifinals of the last two major individual championships he entered. The story is not finished. It is just getting started. Drop your prediction in the comments below. Can Pillay break 40 seconds in an individual race before the end of 2026? I want to know what you think. Thanks for watching. Until next time.